All right, welcome back to Morning Live. Now, what is considered the country's biggest greening event will begin in Tshwane tomorrow. The Sustainability Week brings together international and local delegates from private as well as government sector. Exhibitors will also showcase their environmentally friendly products, and they will also discuss ways to do business while keeping the planet green. To tell us more about this initiative, I'm joined in our studios in Johannesburg by Gordon Brown. He's the Managing Director of Alive to Green Projects, and he's also one of the organizers of the Sustainability Week. But I'm also joined by Msimang. He is Tshwane Mayor. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and thank you so much for giving us your time here on Morning Live.
Good morning, Palisa. Good morning.
Nice to be here.
Let's start with you, Gordon. Talk to us about the importance of this week.
Well, Sustainability Week, first and foremost, is an amalgamation of many workshops, conferences, and seminars, as well as you mentioned, an exhibition. It is a multi-sector, multi-stakeholder event that speaks about best practice and ways to address climate change while also driving the green economy and creating opportunities in the economic sector. But it's also about advising and sharing ideas around policy, project implementation and so forth. And also has a wonderful youth outreach with a hackathon going on for the 3-day period as well. A key event within Sustainability Week, which certainly adds to its importance, is the event known as African Capital Cities Sustainability Forum. That is an event hosted by Executive Mayor Msimang, and sees the invitation to African capital city mayors around the continent, and we'll be hosting in the region of 28 cities.
Sure.
Over the next 3 days. They will workshop with the executive mayor on essentially sharing their experiences, sharing the ideas, and how to develop those cities.
Let's just bring him into the conversation and hear it from the horse's mouth. Mayor, talk to us about this. Of course, 28 cities to be hosted.
28 cities. It's bigger than it has been in the last 2 years, and we're hoping that it will get bigger. It is important for us to do this as African cities. As you know, that the globalization and climate change is affecting all of us. Look at what is happening right now in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in the Western Cape. And what we've come out of recently in Gauteng, we come from a brink of drought. And it means that we now need to rethink our ways of preserving energy, or ways of preserving the water resources that we have. And also to make sure that going forward, we are able to develop in a sustainable manner. And it's not only in the capital cities, but also in all our countries across Africa. And that's why we're bringing all the mayors in to share in those ideas and to also plan together in terms of how we'll be able to ensure that our countries are able to be sustainable and to future-proof what we want to see.
Yeah, as you said yourself that this is the biggest one to happen, but let's just go back to the previous ones that you've had. Talk to us about the recommendations that were then taken and the implementation thereof.
Well, there's been a number of recommendations that had been taken. One is to ensure that we now go on a more energy-saving measure across a number of countries, and we've seen now coming from Kenya, coming from Ghana, some of the very exciting new innovations that they will be presenting as well in the next coming 2 days. And we will also be catching up with some of their counterparts in terms of what they've committed to doing and whether they have really done well in terms of those. I mean, the new BRT systems that we are trying to encourage across the continent is something that is also now beginning to pick up in a number of countries, something that will also be catching up. We want to also showcase the Tshwane House now, one of the biggest green building that you have now. As we are moving forward, it's something that we think we want to be proud of and we want to share with the rest of the continent, and hopefully then get some of our counterparts to also adopt some of the things that we've already started doing.
Yeah, and I would want to believe that going green is not just beneficial to the environment itself, but economically as well. Talk to us about the economic spin-offs.
Well, there's an economy on its own. I mean, your recycling initiatives. I mean, we have now in Pretoria West our latest recycling plant that what do we call the separation from source, which allows us to have your green waste, which then get turned into compost. It's a great and a big economy on its own. You have glass and paper recycling and metal recycling, and we are now moving towards waste to energy, where we'll be whatever it is that we will not be able to recycle, we will also be able to burn in order to generate electricity out of that in the near future. Something that we are also now going to be introducing in the next year or two, depending on the negotiations that are taking place.
So that talks to job creation as well.
That talks to a number of job creations, especially amongst the young people. If you look at the people that are now seriously involved in the recycling business, you find that it's young people. And we want to encourage young people to get into that. But we also now need to go into an education drive where we are teaching our people to separate that source. When you're throwing your rubbish in the bin, you know, to try and then separate that. There's money to be made out of that, as much as you will be working towards saving the environment.
And like every morning when I drive to work, I see a whole lot of young people in the early hours of the morning going through into the deep suburbs of Johannesburg here trying to collect rubbish. So how do you go about assisting them? Like we said, this is a job on its own.
Well, we are busy negotiating now with a number of providers to see whether we will be able to assist with the trolleys, with you know, motorized trolleys, instead of having these young people carrying these things, you know, across the city at wee hours, and sometimes becoming a danger not only to themselves but also to the traffic at large. We are also trying to ensure that you have your collection points closer to where the suburbs are, so that you don't have people having to drive in the middle of town during peak hours, you know, trying to get to a buying point.
All right. Now, Gordon, of course, it's a 3-day-long event, and there's so much that the week brings. Tell us more about the focus area of the program.
Well, look, as I said, it's actually an amalgamation of events. So, for instance, we have a full-day program just on green building. So if you're in the construction sector, or if you're a design professional in the built environment, then your focus within the event will be on green building as well as on the infrastructure seminar. But we also have a session on food security, for example. So if you're in agriculture or linked in some way to the food supply chain, that will be the thing that you'll tap into. So all the sectors
are represented.
Yes, and we've got energy, water, waste, transport, infrastructure I've mentioned, manufacturing, mining, etc. So it's a very diverse conversation, cross-cutting the sectors, but also at a cross-cutting at a stakeholder level. So you've got your government stakeholders, very important for us, local government stakeholders, private sector, and civil society.
So how do they go about becoming part of this initiative in the week?
Well, we've been driving an invitation to attend. Attendance has been free rated, so it's by invitation. Some of the seminars are already oversubscribed, but if anyone wishes to attend, they can log on to sustainabilityweek.co.za and simply follow the registration prompts.
All right. No, we'll leave it at that, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, and unfortunately, that's it for today. Thank you so much for having watched Morning Live on this Monday morning. We'll see you bright and early on Tuesday morning. Until then, it's a goodbye.